Heathen thought of the day.
Ladies first.
Well, thank you. So we've watched some films recently that have brought up the question
Shock horror, we watched films.
of casting.
Mm-hmm.
Appropriate, inappropriate.
I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, you could go through so many things. For example, one of the earliest things for me when I watched Game of Thrones, and you've got Emilia Clarke playing, the role she plays. And I always thought, I can't even say, she might be a brilliant actress. I haven't seen her in anything else. But I just felt like she was so miscast in that role. And equally, a lot of the time you get people who just have a comedic face and you put them in something serious and I just can't buy it. And the other thing that bugs me is when you've got someone who's really, really well known, like a really famous actor, and you put them in a role where they're supposed to it just doesn't work, that this is Brad Pitt, this is Angelina Jolie. I don't know, it has to be someone that you haven't got all these connotations.
Yeah, really, because let's face it, the thing about casting is 90% at least of Hollywood actors can't actually act. They can only be slightly heightened versions of what they already are. So if you've got someone who's mainly doing this type of movie and you put them in X type of movie, you're only going to see what they are in there because they don't have the chops to put it off whatsoever. There are only, whatever Hollywood's idea of really good acting is not my idea of what good acting is.
It also comes back to Heathen because, we've had before when you talk to potential investors, etc., and they're like, oh, well, if you had a name attached as like the lead role. So are you saying that you want us to cast Daniel Radcliffe as our lead role in this body horror? I was like, that would absolutely ruin everything that this film represents.
You're dead on arrival with a known person in the lead role in this. You're dead on arrival really with anyone of any kind of cachet in a name world in most of the roles.
I just feel like, especially for this film and a lot of horror, actually, can you imagine the Blair Witch Project with just a bunch of famous people?
Exactly.
It just doesn't work.
Fall on its arse. And why don't the producers realise this? So because every single great horror movie starts off with someone who's an unknown at the time or are just a bunch of unknowns. It's not like someone's gone, oh, I've got this movie, even though I don't like it, I've got this movie Paranormal Activity. Oh, this isn't going to work unless you have Matt Damon and Claire Danes or whoever in the role. No, that just completely takes away from it. But they're not smart enough to get that.
No, horror has always been a great transport for new talent, as we know. And I think Heathen again. I think there's an actor or two who we've seen who are just so watchable that could play some of the supporting roles. But for the main cast, I just don't see why you wouldn't explore the oceans full of untapped talent out there and get someone new.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, shine a light on something and someone new, certainly. Have a new idea for a movie, things you've never seen before, while at the same time bringing in new talent, people that wouldn't normally get the opportunity, who are going to be far better than the likes of people who are already out there. Mm-hmm. Certainly. My thought stays on Heathen. When you were out the other day, I was upstairs in the music room. And I was just going over the drum patterns that I'd made for a particular scene in Heathen. It's when the witch doctor comes out into the room of eyes to work on Josh, and I was like, oh, it's a very simplistic beat, but I've envisioned the scene with this music, and it's just going to work. It's just going to work so well.
It just works.
It simply works. And it got me thinking, actually, well, most of the most effective scores are quite simplistic. If you think about Halloween, right? It's only a few notes. And as well as horror soundtracks, I've just got soundtracks to some of what I think are the best scores of all time. So I've got some props. And this is one that I actually listen to. As you can see, I don't need to tell you what it is. And not only do I listen to the score, but the score is obviously of this is iconic and incredibly simplistic. But you can't do without Tiny Cane and Triangles and all the other great songs that are on this. So this is one that's open. It's got some nice shots in the back from the movie too. And if you open it up, we got the large Arnie in black and white. Very cool. So yeah, a nice simplistic score works well enough for a movie. It's always more effective.
Absolutely.
And just
Psycho.
Yeah, exactly. And just to show
Jaws.
off, not only do I have this one, I also got a copy. Smells like 1984, still sealed in the original shrink wrap with sticker. I wouldn't get rid of this for, £5,000. This one's a keeper. Has anyone else got a sealed Terminator vinyl soundtrack from 1984 unopened with the hype sticker?
I think my favourite soundtrack that you've got, we've got,
What's mine is yours now, yeah.
is To Live and Die in LA. What a great soundtrack.
You're not beating the Wang Chung.
Brilliant.
Not just the score.
Just on its own.
But also the music that they
brilliant.
made. Yeah. Unbelievable. But so you think that Wang Chung, do you think this comes a close second? And what comes as a second? We've also got the Cocktail soundtrack, Tom Cruise. This one, Terminator. We also got Days of Thunder.
Yeah, I do like the Terminator one. I think it's just
Intimacy.
Yeah. But the Wang Chung one, just literally every single song is, as they would say, a banger for me.
Yeah, those songs are unbelievable.
Again, a lot of the time when you listen to film soundtracks, they're obviously going to be films that you have seen a lot, you really like them, and so you've got the scene in your head, and that obviously adds a lot to it. Whereas with, for example, To Live and Die in LA and a lot of the Terminator soundtrack, even if you've never seen the film, I feel like if you just put the soundtrack on as an album, it's still just really good.
Also, To Live and Die in LA and the Wang Chung, the actual songs that they make, not the score, it's probably the most effective I've ever seen. Like it elevates the entire movie, those songs. I know you haven't rewatched it
Not enough,
since knowing the songs, but I remember the first time I ever watched To Live and Die in LA, I literally bought the soundtrack the next day. I was just completely blown away by it. Yeah, so soundtracks mean a lot, and especially in horror, and it's something that I'm not going to be taking lightly.